Hey, what's up, guys? To catch back, I want to make a quick video on potency and resistance. There is a lot to talk about with these secondary stats. So here I'm only going to talk about the PvP perspective of potency and resistance. So potent resistance is a secondary stat. So they're very, very important in PvP. Potency increases the duration of harmful effects, whereas resistance reduces the duration of harmful effects. Very simple. If you just read Blizzard, it does a pretty good job of explaining. What you need to focus on in PvP is increasing both these stats as high as possible. You would not prioritize them, by the way, over armor and armor pen. Armor and armor pen are still king, but potency and resistance should not be overlooked. I've done a terrible job of increasing my potency and resistance. I have a lot of work to do. Um, but just keep that in mind. So there's two ways you get potency and resistance. The first way is the way everyone knows, which is gems. So anything like citrines or topazes in your gear is going to increase your resistance and your potency. One way a lot of players are not aware of or they neglect is on your gear. Willpower is a fantastic stat, and willpower by itself increases your potency and resistance. So if you are focusing heavily on PvP, which most players are, ideally you're looking for gears that are statted like this with fortitude and willpower. Anytime you can get a legendary essence that has fortitude and willpower, you're looking pretty good. That's going to be increasing both of these stats. So with potency and resistance, the greater disparity between you and your opponents, the greater the effects will have. So what that can look like, let's say I have 1,000 potency or 2,000 potency, and my opponent has 1,000 resistance, and I hit them with a 3-second fear. My fear more than likely will last the full duration, 3 seconds. If my opponent increases their resistance, maybe closer to maybe 17, 1,800 or 1,500, around there to my 2,000 potency, and I hit them, my fear will only last for maybe 2 seconds. So the closer those gaps are, the more potent or less potent your CC is going to be. This is why, in a lot of times when you're looking at really, and like when you're looking at really good players in battlegrounds or OEs, and they're just taking over. If you look at their secondary stats, um, these stats, armor pen, armor, potency, resistant, are going to be very, very high. So potency can also indirectly affect your damage in PvP as well, based on your build. This is very niche, this part. But perhaps maybe you have, like, if you're playing a Crusader, where you have a build where it takes all your continual damage and puts into one hit. I believe there's like an essence of the leggings. I know with Necromancers, they have something with Scythe that will take all the continual damage and place it into one hit. Potency would indirectly also affect your damage. Again, like I said at the beginning of the video, potency increases the duration of harmful effects. So that means anytime you're dealing with dot damage, legendary gems, anything like augments, banquet, anything that's going to put a damage over time effect, potency increases duration. So if you increase the duration, let's say you have a Viper Bite that's going to deal 5,000 damage over 5 seconds. Let's say you now have a lot of potency and you've extended duration. Instead of it lasting for 5 seconds on your opponent, it's going to last for 10 seconds. So now it's dealing 10,000 damage over 10 seconds. So then when you use the ability that takes all that continued damage into one hit, it's going to increase its damage because it's doing more damage over time. So potency for some very niche specs in PvP can actually indirectly affect your damage in a pretty big way. So that's something I just wanted to also bring up here towards the end of the video. But yeah, that's it, guys. It's a very, very important stat. You should not neglect it. I've done a terrible job, so please don't be me in the comment section and say, why are you even talking about when it's that low? I realize it's that low. I need to do a way better job of increasing the potency and resistance. My ideal goal would be to get it probably within maybe 200-300 of armor, pen, and armor. And I would say for most people, this should be their goals, especially if you're playing a high CC class like a mage or a necromancer. Any class that's really putting damage over time or CC, you're going to really want to focus on your potency and resistance. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful. Hopefully that kind of clears up any kind of misconceptions you might have of potency resistance. You can see why it's important, and you know what kind of gear you'll be looking for. All right, guys, have a good one.